Dear COD Mobile, can you please fix your game? I really want to have fun playing COD Mobile, but sometimes it just gets really annoying facing the same thing over and over again, and you still have not fixed this even though it's been many seasons. So here are some of my proposed realistic balance changes. First of all, Thermites need a massive nerf. Don't get me wrong, when you stick someone with a Thermite, that's fair game, that's a free kill, that's totally fine. But there's so many other aspects about Thermites that make them so OP. First one being range. Like this, look how far you can throw this. There's like no limitation. Just watch. I chuck it, boom, we mark the point. Guess how many meters? 20 meters? Nope. 40 meters? Nope, that's pretty far. 50 meters. You can chuck a Thermite 50 meters. Why? Make it like 10 meters, please. The second nerf that the Thermite needs is the kill radius. You can basically throw this 5 meters away from someone and it'll still have the potential to kill them. And on top of that, you're slowing them down at the same time. So my proposed nerf for the Thermite is to half the kill radius. Make it so it's only around 2 meters that it'll be able to kill someone because it's just broken right now. And lastly, the Thermite needs a duration nerf. This means make it at least 3/4 or maybe even 1/2 of the time it takes to completely burn, as it is right now. The second nerf that we desperately need is to the Shrapnel Perk. This is because with the Shrapnel Perk currently, you can throw down 2 pieces of lethal equipment within a matter of like 2 seconds. And that's really broken because a lot of people, they just switch to Thermites right now. Currently, they just switch to Shrapnel Thermites right as they respawn and they just chuck it, and it's really annoying and takes no skill. So I suggest that just in general, it doesn't matter if you're running Thermites, Molotovs, trip mines, combat axes, grenades, it doesn't matter what it is. I suggest for the Shrapnel Perk that there's a mechanic, just like in Attack of the Undead, where there's a timer in between the time you can throw the first piece of lethal equipment and the second piece of lethal equipment. And my suggestion for multiplayer is around 10 to 15 seconds. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the Hawk X3. Now, this is pretty balanced because you can just kill someone, it'll end their streak right away. So just rush to their spawn and just kill them. So that's pretty easy. But if you've guessed by now, why is Trident hitting all the walls with his Hawk X3? It's because the Hawk X3 does not take any damage when hitting walls. And I think that's the one nerf it needs so that it's easier to shoot down. Also, your PP is invincible when you use this. The next nerf that's very much needed is to the Sparrow. This thing shoots way too fast right now. It definitely needs a rate of fire nerf so it's less OP. Starting off the weapons changes, we have the QXR. Now this is definitely the #1 gun this season, and for good reason. It's really good at close range, and I have no problem with that. However, it's also really good at long range, which is kind of going against the whole point of this Season 4 update, which was to make weapons better in their respective ranges. For SMGs, make them better than ARs at close range, ARs better than SMGs at long range, and snipers not so OP. And for the most part, that was good. It's a good update. But the QXR has the ability to beam people across the map with just under 1,000 fire rate rounds per minute. There's no real difference when it comes to taking gunfights at close range and long range, and I think that's the real problem here. So either decrease the fire rate of the enhanced bullet perk or even the QQ9 in general, or give it a huge recoil nerf. Now, I also wanted to briefly mention the QQ9, which is very similar to the QXR, except it has a lower fire rate than actually the QXR without the enhanced bullet perk. And for that reason, I don't think the fire rate should be nerfed on this. However, the recoil definitely needs to be reworked, definitely a nerf to the recoil, so you're not able to take those mid to long range engagements as easily. The last gun that I think needs a nerf is the PP19 Bison. While this thing has the 3rd slowest fire rate out of any SMG at 658 rounds per minute, what makes it really good is first the strafe speed, secondly the magazine size is very large for an SMG, and third it has very little recoil, which makes it really good at long range engagements. So this is what I would nerf about the PP19 Bison. First, I think the strafe speed is totally fine. You can leave it as it is. If you want to use an SMG with high strafe speed, go ahead and use the PP19 Bison. However, the magazine size definitely needs a nerf by around 10 to 20 rounds. And lastly, I think this needs a bullet spurt accuracy nerf. This way people will spend more attachments on bolt spread accuracy and less on recoil control and mobility, so this will really balance out the PP19 Bison. Moving on to the buffs, these are not really that important. They're just kind of opinions that I made in the last second, just trying to make this video. But I definitely want to see the AK-47 appear in the meta for multiplayer, because it's been in the meta for Battle Royale for such a long time and has never really been in the meta for multiplayer. So I want to see a big buff to the AK-47. Ideally, this would be for recoil control, because that's something the AK-47 really struggles in multiplayer, and maybe even damage to the limbs. And the last buff I want to see is to the combat axe. I think this thing is very underused, and maybe if you made the hitboxes a little bit bigger with this, maybe more people would start using them. Moving over to other changes, please just bring back OG Nuketown. No one likes Nuketown Russia. I always skip it when it comes to rank voting selection. Just bring back OG Nuketown. No one likes Nuketown Russia. What don't you understand? Like, we've been waiting for this for like 4 seasons now. Just bring it back. Moving on, there's a lot of bugs in your game currently. One of them that I can think of at the top of my head is I'll get random pings in the minimap of enemies, and they're not even there. They're nowhere close. It's just a fake ping of an enemy in the minimap, and it's just pointless. Like, come on, fix your minimap. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of other bugs in the game that I won't even mention in this video, so check the comments for people reporting those bugs. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is optimization for lower end devices. Now, this doesn't personally apply to me because I play on an iPhone XR, which is pretty high end. I mean, it's not the high, but I don't experience a lot of lag, and maybe that's just my internet. I play on 20 ms, usually 15 to 20 ms, so maybe it's internet, but it's not just internet. I know that for sure. People experience desync with actually very high latency internet, and you know, it's just the game. I think optimization, there has to be a better setting for optimization for lower end devices with low RAM. For a game that's free, I think COD Mobile, you really have to make this as inclusive as possible, not just for devices that can handle 60 and 120 FPS. There has to be something for lower end devices. So please look into this, fix the desync, fix the lag, because a lot of your player base is playing on lower end devices. So definitely look into this. Alright, you made it to the end of the video. Hope you did enjoy. Now, these are all my hopes for Season 5 of Call of Duty Mobile, the nerfs that I want, and maybe the buffs that I want as well. I did kind of rush this video, so I'm sure there's a lot of other bugs that I missed, so definitely be sure to leave a comment, and if you disagree with anything, leave a comment as well. I want Call of Duty Mobile to see multiple opinions. But that's going to go ahead and wrap up the video. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!